We'll be able to campaign on Saturday. And nevertheless, we have a horrible gag order. That shouldn't be allowed. It's never been on. Nothing like this has ever happened. What you're witnessing is a first. This case is highly unconstitutional. It's presided over by a very conflicted judge. Conflicted like I've never seen before. He refuses to take himself off the case, and it should be a mistrial.
Right now, a former White House aide who worked closely with Donald Trump when he was president is back on the stand in his criminal hush money trial in New York City. Madeleine Westerhout broke down in court Thursday as she told the jury about how she was fired from the White House for gossiping about the Trump family at a dinner in 2019, something she says she now regrets. The testimony, however, that everyone is still talking about is that of adult film star Stormy Daniels, who endured hours of cross-examination. And after that testimony, she trolled Trump online, posting on X, "Real men respond to testimony by being sworn in and taking the stand in court. Oh, wait, never mind." It came after Trump and his legal team complained about her testimony. NewsNation senior correspondent Laura Engel is outside the courthouse in Manhattan. Oh, the drama that has happened already. What's going on behind those closed doors now?
You know, Marni, it's funny you say that. I was reading one of the reports about yesterday's court dealings, and somebody said it was like watching a Broadway play, and people were watching Stormy Daniels and looking over at Trump to see if he was watching her, looking over at the jurors and watching to see everybody's reaction to what was going on. And you're right, Stormy Daniels has certainly been the star witness of the week. We know that the real star witness will be the former attorney and former fixer for Mr. Trump, Michael Cohen, which we now are hearing is most likely going to be Monday. That is coming from a variety of sources. We have spoken to Michael Cohen today very briefly. He wouldn't tell us directly, but the word around the house here is that the courthouse is that it is going to be Monday. But yeah, Stormy Daniels certainly still the topic here today as we think about what she said on the witness stand. It was a lot of very intimate details about what she claimed happened inside of a hotel room in Lake Tahoe with the former president in 2006. And it was so graphic, in fact, that the defense asked for a mistrial. That was denied. And the judge said, look, if you had a lot of objections about the things that she was talking about, you should have objected more when it was happening, kind of placing the blame back on them for not being more vocal about that. But now we're getting into, you know, we got to still click through all of those other witnesses that the prosecution has. As you mentioned, the former White House aide on the stand right now talking about some administrative duties that she held while she was working in the White House, talking about some of the call, you know, who was able to be put through on the phone to the president, how that system worked, how the mail worked, who cut the checks, who wrote the checks, who signed the checks, how he got the checks. Those are, of course, very important items that are happening here today. Now, Madeleine Westerhout, we have been told from our producers inside the courtroom, she is being asked now about the Stormy Daniels incident, about the story that came out, and she is telling the court now that when it happened, it was certainly very upsetting to Mr. Trump and his staff. That's where we are right now. And then, of course, we don't know what's next. And that's what makes this covering this trial so interesting as we go along these hours, because once she gets off the stand, which I would expect would happen pretty soon, she's been up there for a while, who's going to be next? It very well could be Michael Cohen. We just simply don't know. And we don't know who the prosecution has waiting in its wings. But also to the point of one other thing that Trump asked for yesterday, Team Trump asked for, was to get that gag order amended so that he could come out and talk about what Stormy Daniels said on the stand. And to your point, what she's been putting out there on social media. The judge said no, he is not going to amend it. He doesn't feel like that's necessary at this time. So off we go, ending out this week. And we'll bring you what happens next here from Lower Manhattan. Marni?
Trump would much rather be out on the campaign trail. Laura, thanks for that update. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.